Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another fragrance review. Thank you all very much for tuning in. And in this video, I have the pleasure of talking to you guys a little bit about a fragrance by the company Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements, and this is based out of Phoenix, Arizona, and the fragrance is called Sangre de Drago. I'm excited to tell you guys a little bit more about this one, so definitely make sure to stay tuned. Now, the perfumer behind this fragrance is Douglas Smith, and I had the pleasure of somewhat meeting Douglas when I was speaking at StyleCon in Atlanta, Georgia this year. I didn't actually get a chance to meet him, but I did sit through his presentation, and he's a highly intelligent and he has a lot of knowledge. He's a great individual, so it was really great of me to have the opportunity to speak to him and to learn more about him by communicating with him online. Now, with this fragrance, he does make fragrances that are aftershaves and colognes, and he has a really wide variety, and a lot of these, from what I can say, are really well blended in the sense that you get to pick out each individual note, and a lot of them do smell quite natural. So I'm excited to talk to you guys today about Sangre de Drago. So let's go ahead and start things off by taking a look at the presentation. So all of the fragrances from this company look quite similar to one another, with the exception that they have different colored juice and they have a different label affixed to the front. Doesn't come in a box or anything, and it just has all of the information here on the front. It is a twist off cap, like your traditional aftershave, and you have to basically put it on your hands before you slap it on your face. You guys know the drill. But that was pretty much the presentation for Sangre de Drago by Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements. Now, this particular fragrance, if you take a look at the label, it says sandalwood and oud. So this is his take at an oud-based fragrance. And I was very happy that he sent me this one along with a few others, and I immediately gravitated towards this one, not only because of the description on the label, but also because of the color of the juice. That's really dark juice that's in there. And with this fragrance in particular, yes, it is dark, and it's a very sort of mysterious and enigmatic fragrance, and maybe the label sort of gives that off a little bit, but this one, it has that woodsy nuance to it, so it smells very dark, very woodsy. The sandalwood, I think, brings forth a little bit of sweetness, because we know that sandalwood can have a creamy sweetness to it, almost, dare I even say, a lactonic sort of base to it. But this also has agarwood, which is known as oud wood. But the oud note or accord that's used in here, it isn't sort of Middle East inspired, but it has that sort of dark, mysterious quality to it that you can come to expect from an oud-based scent, and I love that about it. Now, I believe I also read that this has a little bit of labdanum in here. Labdanum is a type of resin that gives off a slightly sweet feel. This is not a sweet fragrance by any means. It's definitely woodsy, and it's really heavy on the woods. And what I like about this is that he makes these colognes and aftershaves, and he has all these ingredients in here like aloe, alum, glycerin, absolutes, and he is very well sort of skilled at his craft. But when you think about aftershave, you think about fragrances that are maybe Old Spice or Brut, these sort of classic barbershop fougere fragrances, excuse me. And I have nothing against them. One of my favorites is actually by Penhaligon's. It's called Sartorial. I have a bottle of it, and I wear it quite often, and it's done by one of my favorite perfumers, Bertrand Duchaufour. But what I like about this is that it sort of strays away from that stereotype that aftershaves have to have lavender in them, or they have to belong to this classification of perfumes or this fragrance family, as it were. And I like the variety that his brand has to offer. If you are interested in learning more about this company, I am going to leave the information down below, but as far as it pertains to this one, I absolutely love it. So let's go ahead and finish things off by taking a look at my rating. First up, I took a look at the uniqueness in the overall smell, and this is a super unique scent. Whenever we see an oud-based scent in the fragrance industry, it's usually compounded with the note of rose, and that's sort of iconic of like Middle Eastern blends. This one is oud, sandalwood, it has some other resins in there, and it has a very sort of bright opening, but it's still dark and mysterious and enigmatic because of the presence and the heavy presence of the woods. As far as longevity, this one lasts a really long time, considering the fact that it is an aftershave. I got about 5 to 6 hours on my skin, which I think is attributed to all of the base notes that are in here, and they are comprised of a larger molecular structure, so they have a lower rate of volatility, excuse me. And the projection on this one, It doesn't radiate beyond an arm's length. It does sit close to the skin, but for a very long time. And it's enough for people to smell you as long as they come within your bubble. Versatility on this one, I think, is compromised just a little bit because it is a little bit more bold. Like, my wife wasn't crazy about this one. I'm crazy about this one. My wife didn't like it so much, but I think that's the only thing that compromises the versatility. I think you can wear this one dressed up, dressed down, so much so to the point where if somebody smells it on you, I don't think they're going to say, oh, are you wearing an aftershave? No, they're just going to think you're wearing like a cologne, like an eau de toilette or an eau de parfum or something. And I would wear this one in the colder weather, not because of the way that it performs, but because of the compositional nature. And I think anybody of any age can wear this. It doesn't have a sort of dated or mature feel that you would expect from an aftershave. So I really like what Douglas is doing with his line. Last up, we have the presentation. It does leave a little bit to be desired, but at the end of the day, they are aftershaves, so what do you expect it to come in, like a coffin or something like that? I think for what it's worth, the presentation is pretty solid. And if I were to give this fragrance an overall score, I would give it a 4 out of 5. Now, I really like the smell, and I think Douglas did a wonderful job with this one. But I do think the versatility is compromised a little bit. And personally, you know that I love my fragrances to be beast mode at times, so I was expecting it to perform a little bit better, but given the concentration, I think it's what you would come to expect. So anyways, I really enjoyed this fragrance. Douglas, thank you so much for sending this over to me. I really like your line. I like what you're doing. I think you're very knowledgeable and very talented, and I hope to run into you again at next year's StyleCon. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in. That was my review of Sangre de Drago by Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements. If you have tried anything from this brand, please let me know what you think by leaving a comment down below. Also, please don't forget to rate and subscribe for future videos, top 10s, giveaways, unboxings, and a lot of other fragrance-related content. So remember, I smell well so you can smell good, and we'll see you in the next episode. Take care.